Hi everyone, my name is Christy Giannoni and this is my training presentation for our MPA540 course. This is a training presentation that I would probably do at my current agency. I'm a human resources analyst, and one of our jobs for succession planning and for our strategic planning goals for the city is to prepare our employees to be able to promote within the organization. And as technology is changing and we're getting new software applications such as NeoGov, which is something I'll be walking through today, there's some skills and some different things that we want to make sure people are well trained and versed in when they're applying for new positions. And so this is specifically for promotion because obviously we don't really want people leaving our agency, but this training is relevant for anybody who's putting in a job application for a public agency or outside of a public agency. So I'm going to be walking you through what us as human resources do so you can see what the screening process looks like and some of those key tips and tricks to make your application stand out. So these are the must-dos. We want to read the entire posting. You want to make sure that you're looking for those relevant things that they're looking at, those KSAs as we're learning, those knowledge, skills, and abilities. Want to see that there's, certain things that employers are looking for outside of just those KSAs. Do they need someone who's really customer service friendly? Are they looking for someone who can do public speaking? Is that relevant to the job? And you want to make sure that you're customizing every application. So that's something that I'll walk you through as well. If you are on a software site like NeoGov or another platform where your application is saved in the system, you want to make sure you're not just hitting apply to all of these different jobs. Really take the time to customize your application to the specific position that you're applying for. Please proofread all of your work. It does not make you look like a professional individual that the agency is going to want if you have a bunch of spelling errors. Resumes are supplemental to your application. I think back in the day, a resume was something that people really focused on, that you were paying somebody to, create a professional resume for, and resumes are still great. It is always good to have a professional resume on hand. But with some of these software applications that public agencies are using nowadays, like NeoGov, there are screening applications built into it. So you're going to start seeing an increase in supplemental questions, and you want to make sure that you're taking time to answer those supplemental questions thoroughly and correctly, because the system is using that to auto score applicants. So for public agencies that are getting thousands of applications, you have AI technology screening you first before HR even takes a look at you. So your resume is not necessarily something that's going to even be viewed. So you want to make sure that your application, those supplemental questions, really has all of that information built into it. And please do not say see resume. That is an automatic DQ at my agency and probably a lot of others as well. Please be mindful of your attachments. If you're attaching a resume, a typing certificate, anything else that's required, make sure that you have naming conventions that make sense. Upload it in a PDF so that a Word document doesn't get, accidentally something deleted, and make sure that you're uploading what you want to upload. I can't tell you the number of times that I have opened something that says resume and it's actually a recipe or something that's not relevant. Make sure you include all relevant experience, internships, volunteer, temporary assignments. If you are looking at something that you maybe meet those minimum qualifications, like a years of experience, 2 years, 3 years, we look at everything aside from just the actual jobs that you've held. So if you have some internship experience, if you volunteered, or if you were in a temporary assignment, maybe you were on a commission. At my city, we have a safety committee. We have a brand standards committee. So those are things you want to make sure that you're including on there to bolster the experience that you have. And go talk to human resources. If this is a promotional opportunity, you likely know your human resources folks already. Do it before the job opens. We have a lot more flexibility in the advice that we can give you before the job opens. Once the job's open, we've got to make sure that we're doing everything in an unbiased way, that we're treating all applicants fairly, not trying to give any individual, a certain advantage. But if you can come and talk to us before the job opens, we can give you, all of these tips and tricks. We can walk you through those reminders of your application, things that'll kind of help you to be better prepared as you're looking to promote within your organization. So what do we do as human resources? First off, we rate blindly. If we can, we have the software take off all personal identifying information so we can make sure that we're truly looking at the relevant experience for those minimum qualifications. So what that means for you as an individual that's applying within your own organization is make sure that you are doing it like it's somebody who doesn't know you. This is one of the biggest mistakes that we often see for people who are trying to promote within their own organization. They are, assuming that we know what they do because we probably do, but it is working in a public agency, we have to rate everybody in an unbiased, equally platformed level. And so you want to make sure that you're applying like you're applying to an outside agency, to somebody who doesn't know what you do, does not know you personally. So always make sure you're putting in that extra effort, even if it's your own human resources team that's taking a look at your application. And then we're screening for those minimum qualifications. And from there, we're going to compare everybody against the pool of applicants. So we've got a way, we have to find a way to screen everybody. And if there's no civil service exam, if you're going straight to an interview process and there's 100 people who all meet minimum qualifications, what are those next steps that we're going to be looking for? So that's that comparison to the pool of applicants who are applying. So you want to make sure that if you're looking for something, you notate all of the information that's going to let us know, hey, John minimally applies for this job. Great. Now I've got 50 people that minimally apply. What's going to narrow the pool down to those 10 rock star candidates that are going to get an interview? And that's where you take that extra step. All right, so let's walk through that application process. I'm going to show you a position. I'm going to take a look at one within my agency that we can take a gander at what those minimum qualifications are and one of those little extra things that we're going to be looking at. So this is a police record specialist position. As you can see, a typing certificate with a minimum typing speed is required. So that's that attachment, right? You want to make sure that you're attaching a relevant typing certificate that meets all of these qualifications. And then we have this opener right here. This is what the department was saying they want their candidate to look like. So these are the things to include on your application. So when you're typing in like, hey, I do data entry, well, let's beef that up a little bit. Let's go through and find these nuggets of information that they're looking for. So maybe you're going to put in there that you can multitask as you're doing your data entry job, that you are organized in a manner. And so you want to pull out these keywords and include them in your application. So this is that portion where you're going to make every application a little bit different. And then this is where you're going to pull in and say, do I do these things already in my current position, and how I can make it relevant to the requirements of this one that I'm going to apply for. So make sure that you're including all of this information if you already do it. And a lot of times people are like, well, you know what? I don't exactly have experience with police records. That's okay. You want to say that you have experience with processing a wide variety of different things in your current position. So make sure you're really reading through these requirements. And then again, those minimum qualifications, this is what HR is screening on the back end. And you want to make sure that your application reflects that you minimally qualify for this position. All right. So next, you're applying. Now you need to prepare for those next steps. Does this position have a civil service exam? Is there a practical exercise? Is there a oral board? Likely these are the components of a public agency job posting. So how do we prepare? Well, we saw on this police record specialist that there is going to be an online written exam. And we notated that this exam will include these particular areas. So there's a lot of online civil service exam test prep material. A lot of times your local library has them. In this section, I was able to find one online. So I'm saying, okay, there's some written communication I need to prep for, clerical knowledge, problem solving. I'm going to go online, I'm going to find a civil service test prep, and I'm going to take, this reading comprehension and practice it to make sure that I am well prepared to take this online exam. Because again, you're going to be compared to a pool of applicants. And if your public agency doesn't have any type of policy or practice mechanism to make someone who's already a current employee jump up above anybody else in that pool, you've got to stand out in your own right. All right, So if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out. This is something that you can talk to your own HR individual personnel department about. I am available if anybody has any questions specifically to this. And that is my training video. I hope everybody learned something, and I look forward to watching everybody else's.